What is going on, guys? Welcome back to another video. This is actually the follow-up video to my video that I made a few weeks ago, and wow, I had so many different opinions, things that have been said. I had over, I think, like 650 comments on that video. That video that I posted a few weeks ago is the most viewed video on my second channel. It's the most views I ever got. And this second channel isn't about views at all. I just found that to be very eye-opening, given that pretty much everybody finds this channel from my main channel, and people that want to see how I structure my diet, my lifestyle, everything outside of food challenges. It's a pretty reoccurring thing on my main channel for people to go, bro, how are you not 800 pounds? And then I redirect people to this channel because lo and behold, I don't eat garbage and all this crap that I eat my normal videos every single day. This is the place where I try to push people in this direction, not push people literally, but put people in this direction so they can see what my life is like. But long story short is I got a lot of different opinions on that video, and I got a lot of people that an overwhelming amount of positivity, some negativity as well, which is to be expected. I found it very comical, very amusing that people were almost offended that I had those types of feelings towards my girlfriend, because apparently you need to be with somebody for a predetermined or arbitrary amount of time before you could actually feel like you've met the right person in your life. But that's, again, it's all based on opinion, it's all subjective. But that was the more reoccurring negative comment that I saw a few times. But other than that, it was mainly positivity. And yeah, again, I can't really thank you guys enough for all the support and the feedback with me and Christy, who is in the other room on a phone call. So if you guys hear her, that's who is talking. But yeah, this is all raw, unedited. But I felt like making a follow-up video to everyone that's asked or posted comments in that video, and people who have been on my Instagram. Well, I'm gonna redirect to this video. But as you guys have probably seen the title of this video, I weighed myself today, or I was weighed today for the first time in almost 2 years. So I wanted to make this video because a lot of people, I have a lot of people that message me, that email me, who are recovering anorexics who still suffer from anorexia, or who are people who have dealt with eating disorders and who battle the scale. And whenever someone asks me, I get this question pretty much every day: how much do you weigh? I always make a sarcastic response that's typical of me, and I say, oh, the scale can't measure sexy. I'm not actually saying that I'm sexy. It's just a sarcastic way for me to say that I don't really believe in scales. I don't weigh myself. I broke my last scale about a year and a half ago, before I filmed the 60K on my main channel. And that was a message that people still really didn't understand, because a lot of the people that watch my videos are mainly younger kids, or people that are just among the younger generation that don't really understand that people out there can have an issue with scales. People out there can have an issue, can become obsessed with weighing themselves. So I wanted to let you guys know that going into today, I had no idea that was going to happen. My girlfriend was really aware of how it was more of a serious thing for me. It's actually kind of a funny story, because we actually met a fellow at our gym who is a chiropractor, and he took us into his office as like a free consultation. He wanted to find out more about like both what we do and just kind of talk to us a little bit more, show us around. And I, as a powerlifter, have wanted to get my posture kind of evaluated and just see if it's bad, because I have upper back rounding. If you guys have watched any of my deadlift videos, you'll actually see that my posture is actually a little bit, it's weird. I have an odd back. I have a pretty wide back. I have a pretty wide frame. But I wanted to kind of see, Christy wanted to see as well what was going on with both of us. So we went in there in the middle of the afternoon today, and I wasn't expected to get on the scale. He wanted to weigh both of us, and I actually thought going into it that I was a lot heavier than I actually was. I'm a very dense person. Even growing up, I remember going to the doctor and getting weighed. At my heaviest, I was like 235 pounds at 15 years old. I'm 5'9". Back then I was probably about 5'7". So I was overweight, clinically obese at the time, according to the doctor and the chart that I was in based on the body mass index. That's a whole nother subject. But I'm a very, very dense person, and people would look at me and say, you don't look 235 pounds, and I would always be like, yeah, whatever, my bones, I'm big boned or whatever. I would always say stuff like that. But going into it, I expected to see the scale well over 200 pounds. And surprisingly, it wasn't. I weighed in at 187 pounds, and that was after I had a fair amount of carbs yesterday, and I have been loosely tracking my calories. So I want to say I probably dropped about a good 10-ish pounds since getting done with the Texas tour. And that's mainly just due to water retention. That's mainly due to carbs. That's mainly due to calorie. I've cut my calories a good amount, and I feel I'm in a better spot now. I'm not really sure back when my mind was in a million different directions when I hopped on the scale, but the biggest thing for people to understand is that, you know, even seeing an arbitrary number like the scale weight, it's not necessarily going to mean that your progress is good or bad. It is one indicator, and it's a minor indicator of how things can be going. The biggest thing that people, especially people that set out on weight loss programs or journeys, they abide by the scale. The scale is the end all be all when it comes to weighing yourself, or when it comes to tracking progression, and that couldn't be I'm gonna get a lot of people that disagree with me on this, but it is not the end all be all way to gauge how you're doing. So let's talk about factors that influence scale weight. So hydration is huge. If you guys are drinking a lot of water, generally you're gonna see that your water retention is going to go down a lot. So hydration, I would definitely think that that's a huge factor as well. In sodium is huge. I generally take in about 3,500 to 4,500 milligrams of sodium a day. It used to be 7,000 to 8,000 milligrams, but that was when I was just doing crazy amounts of vegetables and needed like low calorie condiments to satiate or make the vegetables more hyper palatable. But sodium is a huge thing. So if you're drinking not enough water and consuming way too much sodium, you're gonna see that you retain a lot more water. And back when I was doing all of those food challenges on the Texas tour, a lot of people were calling me fat, saying that I was chubby, my face was puffy, all of these things, but no, that's not necessarily the case. Your body, I did gain some fat, and I do mainly gain it in my face, but I also retain a lot of water in my face as well. So that is a huge thing to take into account. Like when I came back home and I just dropped my calories and my carbs and started increasing my fluid and my water intake, I found that I was actually retaining a lot less water, and so I was able to drop most of that water in about a week. And so that was a huge thing with people. They would think that I had a ton of people that were telling me that, oh dude, you lost a ton of weight. No, just because you're looking at my face, that's not telling the entire story. I just stopped retaining as much water. So that's a huge thing. The other thing as well is the amount of exercise you're doing. So back when I was pounding out 4-hour rides a day, I was exercising a lot in the morning. I would remember when I would wake up and do a 2-hour ride on the mornings I knew I was gonna weigh in, because I wanted to be as light as possible. Now, I'm definitely not recommending to do something as stupid as that, because you're never really gonna be able to get an accurate gauge, or however you wanna call it. You're never gonna be able to see your true weight if you're constantly having to force yourself to excrete as much water and get out as much glycogen storage as possible if you're gonna be doing a ton of exercise before you weigh in. It's kind of pointless, but that's a huge indicator, or a measure as well, that factors into your weight on the scale. Another thing as well, which is very, very important, is your actual glycogen levels. So if you guys are used to consuming, if you guys are carb cycling, that's a huge thing. My girlfriend carb cycles. I generally do it. I would say that it's a pretty intuitive thing for me now. If I do more activity on certain days, I consume more carbs. If I do less activity, I consume a little less carbs. But that's just my own preference. And I would say that yesterday I had a fair amount of carbs in my system. So at the end of the day, if you're somebody that does that with your carbohydrate intake, you're going to see that on your higher days after, it actually can depend on your actual overall energy balance. So if you're consuming more calories in your carb cycling, you're going to see a huge swing upwards usually of actual weight, which is actually not weight, it's just glycogen. If you're consuming a little bit less calories, so you're in a calorie restricted state and you consume what you would say a refeed, or you have a carb up, your body's generally gonna churn through that. Now there are cases of people that go through calorie restricted diets and they have one weekend where they go out and they eat a ton of carbs, and then they find they weigh in the next day and they're 8 pounds heavier. That's generally because you're not in a calorie deficit. Because if you're in a calorie deficit, your body's going to crave those carbs, and your body's going to use those carbs as refuel type of scenario. So I would say that's a huge overall big indicator as well. I generally can store a lot of muscle glycogen, especially just because I've been an athlete for about 9 to 10 years now. So I've just conditioned my body to be able to take in that much. There's a few other factors as well going into it, but I'm not gonna really harp on those now. I'm pretty sure you guys get the idea. But at the end of the day, the scale weight does not matter. I'm not somebody that has health problems. I don't have any health problems. I am just a guy that likes to have fun in life. I have an absolutely beautiful girlfriend who fully supports me in what I do. I am happy and I'm healthy, and that's really what matters the most. I think more people get harped on the scale and what the scale says when they're trying to lose fat and they're trying to lose body fat, because they think of it as weight loss and not fat loss. So that is a huge thing for people to understand, is that you never really want to go into a cutting phase, or however you want to say it, with the idea that I have to lose weight. You should be thinking about losing body fat, because if you're thinking about losing weight, you're going to be sucked into that number, and that number has to keep going it has to keep going down in order for you to be happier. But if you're losing muscle along the process, that's not good. If you're losing body fat and minimizing muscle loss, that's good, in my opinion at least. So I thought of it a lot differently today, because I'm stronger than I've ever been before in my entire life, and I'm not 200, 210, 220 pounds. A few years ago when I got to my highest weight and I did the whole bulk, crammed as much as protein as possible type of thing, and gained a lot of weight back, and I pulled 455 pounds. I was probably about 225. And to say that I was probably, I'd estimate around 185 pounds when I pulled 500 pounds off the floor, that's pretty dope. That's pretty cool. I mean, there's thousands, probably millions of other people out there that are stronger than me, but for me, I'm happy. So that was a huge thing, and I just want to let everybody know out there that still follows my second channel, if you guys out there that are still kind of wrapped around the weighing yourself type of mentality, you don't have to do it. I guarantee you 99% of you out there do not have to do it. I don't have to now go out and weigh myself tomorrow or the day after, because I know, and it's just a number to me. And yeah, I feel a lot better about, how, I hopped off that thing today, and I was expecting to be disappointed in it, and I realized that regardless of whatever over the past 10 years I've had an eating disorder, regardless of what the scale said, I was never happy. If it was too low, I still wasn't happy. If it was too high, I was never happy. So once I realized that, I came to a better overall understanding of it. It's kind of weird to say, and I don't really know how else to say it, but that's how I feel about it. So I would just recommend to you guys that if you're still locked into that type of mindset, you don't have to weigh yourself. And this goes to people who don't have eating disorders as well. You don't have to weigh yourself if you're trying to lose weight. You can you could throw the scale out the window and say you wanted to go on a diet tomorrow and lose body fat. All you have to really need for the rest of your life in order to live healthier, or if you want to, like I said, lose body fat, is to go by the mirror, and go by how your clothes fit, go by go by how you feel. Guys, you don't need a scale. And I'm gonna have a lot of people on this video that go on this video that have just negative intentions at heart. They're gonna go, oh bro, obviously you care about what the scale says because you pulled out your camera, made a video about it. No, I mean, well actually no, that's a lie. I would say that if the scale was 350, or if I was hovering at 400 pounds, then I mean, there's automatically some intuitive thought that you're gonna have, wow, I should probably, go the other direction, or I should probably, in that case, obviously I'm speaking in extremes here, but that's when you would know, okay, I need to go the opposite direction, I need to kind of focus on this. But then again, we're talking about extremes here. If you're somebody that's severely malnourished and underweight, or if you're somebody that is grossly overweight / obese, that's when you kind of have to take things. I'm speaking in extremes here, but hopefully you guys understand. Other than that, things have been going really well. I'm trying to get more ideas for the second channel. I don't want to go back to what I was doing a few months ago, days after food challenges, days after full days of eating, but it's all so, you guys get it. But yeah, overall powerlifting has been very great. I started on Kaizen Training's Infinite Off-Season program. I've been doing it's still about 6-7 days a week I'm in the gym, but 4 days are basically compound movement days, and I'm finding that is really awesome. I'm having a ton of fun with that. I am really liking the lower volume, just going to the gym and just not really focusing on doing my own thing, and just going based on a routine is great. And I'm training more with RPE now, so I'm doing RPE training, and I am focusing on really just getting ready for a powerlifting meet. I really want to be able to get into a meet now that I know my weight. I can actually go into a weight class and train for it, or I can move up a weight class, which I kind of would. I'd be in the 182 pound weight class now. I'd probably have to cut a little bit for that, which is fine. But I am still enjoying things. I'm probably going to be taking my diet, I guess, in, well, it all depends on when I decided to enter into my meet, but I right now am still trying to drop a little bit more body fat. I'm gonna be trying to cut for probably about 3-4 more weeks leading up into the holidays. The holidays are a very, very big time with YouTube, and I'm gonna be doing a lot of crazy eating challenges, and that's going to put some body fat on me. But guys, I've been doing this for a while now. I know how to lose fat. I know how to, yeah, it's not really that hard. So overall, I'm having a really great time. If you guys do wanna see more footage or content on this channel, be sure to let me know down in the comments below. I thank everybody that has stuck by me and has supported me over the past few years, and I hope that this message has resonated with some of you. If it has, be sure to let me know. I'll see you guys in the next video.